Hey everyone, we're back for the late show. How are you all? Did you have a good show with Trish? I hope you did. I hope you did. We have an interesting story that came, what, it actually happened a long time ago in 2010. It's a cold case, never been solved. And what if I told you a 16-year-old boy was shot in his home while playing video games? They don't know who did it. They're not 100% sure. And I want to show you a video from Fox 35 Orlando. But first, I want to say hello to everyone. Hey DJ, how are you? Danny Mitchell, chat celebrity. Marilyn Landis, Lindy, Nana Lana, Marilyn Landis again. Hey. Annika's here, and so is Tharvy40. All right. Yes, it's for the night owls. Are you a night owl? Be here. Do you know where your children are? No? Okay. All right, let's watch this show. Hey Jojo, hey, how are you? Let's see. There we go.
Focusing on a 14-year-old cold case involving a teenage boy who was shot and killed while playing video games.
Tonight, for the very first time, we talked to his friend who was there and saw the whole thing. Fox 35's Marie Ettinger has this Fox 35 exclusive.
In 2010, a teenage boy was just playing video games inside that house when the Alachua County Sheriff's Office says somebody came in and shot him to death. Now, almost 14 years later, the Sheriff's Office says it has just finally figured out a piece of that puzzle, but others are still missing.
When I lost him, I was so angry.
It was difficult to not get emotional.
It's terrible that this happened. It's even more terrible if somebody just gets away with it.
Sebastian Oxenius was 16 years old. He was near the top of his class, methodical, thorough, a star wrestler, a loving brother, a kind, supportive friend.
If they told me my son is going to come back, that to me is justice. But he's gone.
On June 29th, 2010, Oxenius and his friend Brian Hull were up late playing video games at Oxenius's home when Oxenius stepped out and Hull heard a noise.
My mind didn't even think, oh, that's a gunshot.
He'd been shot in the head. His father held him on the floor.
And I knew he was dying. I knew it. And I tell God, please, don't let it go.
But what added to the pain of that loss was never knowing why this happened or who was responsible.
Investigation begun, and over the years, simply hit a brick wall.
Alachua County Sheriff Emery Gainey says new evidence led them to a man with Orange County ties. Timothy Eugene Thomas was already in prison when the indictment for Oxenius's murder came down, almost 14 years later.
I was actually very surprised because I thought, there's no way after all this time.
Thomas had been arrested in Orlando in 2011 for armed robbery, kidnapping, and drug charges. After he got out, court documents say he violated his parole, leading a judge in Orange County to issue a warrant for his arrest. Law enforcement officers believe that's why, when a Monroe County deputy tried to stop him in a car with stolen plates in 2015, he opened fire. The deputy shot in this encounter survived thanks to a ballistics vest, and Thomas was sent to serve a life sentence in prison. Now, he's been transferred to Alachua County, accused of taking a teen's life.
It's highly likely, at least possible, that he may very well be involved in other crimes.
He's charged with burglary and with first-degree murder committed during the trafficking of drugs. The sheriff's office thinks Thomas went to the wrong house when they say he killed the teenager whose family described as perfect.
I'm not going to say the word everybody use closure. No, it's not closure. Peace of mind.
The sheriff's office is still looking for information on at least one other person, someone else who was in the house when Oxenius was shot, and a woman who was in the car Thomas was driving. Someone also lent Thomas the car he was in, but the sheriff's office isn't sure whether the car owner and the car passenger are one and the same.
We are now on the next step of healing, and hopefully we can begin to figure out what that healing feels like. Because I don't know yet.
The sheriff wanted to emphasize the woman they're looking for is not in any trouble at all. They just want to ask her some questions. The sheriff did also say they'll be releasing a bit more information soon. Thomas is back in court March 18th. In Gainesville, Marie Edinger, Fox 35 News.
So what do you think? I think it's crazy that a 16-year-old can just be shot randomly at home while with a friend playing video games, you know? They say here, a man with Central Florida ties is now facing charges for a cold case in Gainesville. It's Akaluka County Sheriff's Office says in 2010 a 16-year-old boy was at home playing video games when someone came in and shot him to death. If it is a case of mistaken identity, it's a real awful case of mistaken identity. But why pull a gun on a 14-year-old? It makes no sense. I mean, a 16-year-old. It was 14 years ago. He's 16. It says Sebastian was 16 years old. School records from his high school show he ranked near the top of his class. Those close to him described him as methodical and hardworking. He was a star wrestler, a loving and generous brother, and a kind, supportive friend. And he said his friend Brian Hall came over to play a video game called Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, it's a cowboy game. The boys got frustrated at a treasure hunting level of the Western style game, and he walked out through the kitchen going to the computer to look for tips online to help them pass the level. It was the last thing he ever did. Someone came in through an unlocked side door that led into the kitchen and shot him. Hull says he heard a noise but didn't realize it was a gunshot. The teenager had never heard one before. In the middle of the night, in the safety of his best friend's house, that was the furthest thing from his mind. It wasn't until he heard Sebastian's parents calling 911 that he understood what happened. How do you not get the suspect right in this after so long? You know, I don't think they're even sure that this one is the correct guy, and they're still looking for two witnesses, someone who was inside the home that night that hasn't come forward, and the second person who was in the car of the offender. So they still need some help to solve this one. Lindy says, "How awful!" I agree. A little teenage kid just starting out his adult life, and I wanted to see if we could find something about his here. So it says that the man that they think did it, Timothy Thomas, has been arrested on suspicion of murder. They're saying it does sort of close the cold case, but there's still more questions to answer. And it says here that Sebastian was pronounced dead at the scene by paramedics. He didn't even make it to hospital. His brother Boris said during a press conference, "We hope as a family that you can help us get to the final chapter of this, which is bringing my brother justice. He was only 16 years of age. His life was stolen from him." Deputies believe the car Thomas used in 2010 was borrowed from a female friend who is believed to have been inside the car while the murder occurred. While deputies do not believe she had prior knowledge of Thomas's plans that night, Gainey encouraged anyone with information to come forward. The woman is believed to have been 20, Hispanic, short with a heavy build. The vehicle is described as a white or cream Kia Sportage or similar model. He says, "I know this has been a long and difficult road. We're making some progress, but we also understand it's not over yet. Rest assured, we'll be with you every step of the way." In 2021, new evidence emerged that led to the identification of Timothy Thomas as a suspect. Thomas is currently serving a life sentence for the 2015 attempted murder of a Monroe County Sheriff's deputy in Stock Island, Florida. Yeah, we saw a little bit of that video in the other video we watched. He gets pulled over for some sort of traffic stop, and as the cop approaches the door, he pulls out a gun and starts firing. I mean, no, I don't know what to say. Just no care. Just shoot, shoot, shoot. And you could just see, like, he didn't care who he hit or who he killed. So maybe killing a 16-year-old isn't out of the question. Yeah, hi, Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn. Yeah, I thought I'd bring it to you. That happened only days ago, published February 12th, so just earlier this week. And it's nice to see some movement in the case. At least it's sort of getting to the end. Hopefully, hopefully they can get the rest of the people involved and close it up for the family, get some justice. We'll see. Hopefully, this guy will have a court date we can have a look at in the future. I'm trying to see when will this guy go to court. Let's have a look. His name is Timothy. Come on, Mr. Timothy, where is your name? Timothy Eugene Thomas. Indicted for homicide. Where's his one where he shot the cop, though? Can't find anything about his the one where he shot the police officer. That's interesting. But we do have this one. There's a photo of him, the same photo you guys saw in that movie. The indictment of Timothy Eugene Thomas III, 33, was announced Monday at a state attorney's office in Akaluka County. Sheriff's Office spokesman Art Forgy, said Tuesday that they believe Thomas was looking for drugs and money. Hey, give me my thing back. There we go. They said, we don't have a confession to that type, but based on information that we have, they were just targeting the wrong house. They didn't expect anyone to be inside. So if you didn't expect someone to be inside while you're trying to rob the house of drugs and money, why did you fire the weapon? It seems this guy's got not just a trigger finger, he's got an idiot trigger finger who just gets startled and he's like, oh, I better fire the weapon. I mean, why not just run away? They wouldn't have had any idea who you are. Now you're a murder suspect. During the indictment press conference, Sheriff Emery Gainey told Thomas, noted Thomas's checkered past. This individual has 23 felony charges in the state of Florida, 8 additional misdemeanors. He's also been arrested by multiple agencies throughout the state of Florida. He proceeded to name off law enforcement agencies in Monroe, Volusia, and Orange counties. He said, if you know your geography of Florida, that's literally all over Central and South Florida. Gainey said Thomas had previously been arrested for multiple batteries, burglary, robbery, and attempted homicide. Thomas was 25 when arrested in 2015 for the attempted murder of a Monroe County Sheriff's Office deputy. According to the report, the Key West Police Department had put out an alert for a vehicle with a stolen tag on October 24, 2015. MCSO Deputy Josh Gordon, while riding in his marked police car, noticed a vehicle matching the description while on patrol on Stock Island. There you go. It has a, stop there. Stock Island is directly east of Key West by the way of Overseas Highway. That's that really cool highway that they have in Florida. Gordon attempted to initiate a traffic stop, but Thomas attempted to flee, according to the report. He soon lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a stop sign. When Gordon attempted to make contact with the driver, Thomas opened fire, striking the deputy once in the chest. Gordon was able to return fire while on the ground. A barrage of shots could be heard during a video of the incident played at the state attorney's office during Monday's indictment announcement. He says, as you can see, a very, very violent incident. He said there where he came out firing at the deputy sheriff. If not for the deputy sheriff's bulletproof vest, we would have another homicide that occurred here. Yeah, that vest saved the cop's life for sure. I know, right? 23 felonies plus a whole heap of misdemeanors. I don't know, probably awaiting trial. Kathy Lynch says, I saw a story recently about a hired killer who took a wrong exit and killed the wrong woman. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Tharby says probably on drugs, which is why he went to the wrong house. Maybe he was so drugged up he didn't realize, or like couldn't keep his eyes straight to actually look for the the number of the house. Let me see if there's anything else on this. Thomas Eugene the Third, and it was Monroe County. That's a whole heap of indictments though that he has against his name. 23. Here. This here.
Get to the car, hit the stop sign, Sunshine Street. Who's there? Who's there?
The footage is brutal and confronting. You think you're that cop and you're just trying to do a traffic stop. I wonder if that cop knew he was hit. I really do. I wonder if that cop even knew he'd been shot in the chest. I'm guessing he probably did. Sorry, I turned it down because of the siren. The siren going. Just put it on low. I think it might be this cop that's hit. He's sort of stumbling around. Yeah, they're gonna check his vest. It probably kills like a bee too. It probably absolutely freaking kills like you really have been shot. You gotta remember when you get shot, your body and that vest is taking that kinetic energy straight into your the plate in the chest and your actual chest, heart, rib cage. Your body is still stopping that kinetic energy. So it's still gonna hurt like you really have been shot, but it'll save your life. Probably had crazy bruising at the same time, like for months afterwards. Yay, Ruby made it. I'm glad they got this guy. You can see just what a lack of, care for life in general. Cops, random people, innocent people, doesn't matter. He'll shoot you. So he deserves to be in jail, this absolute scumbag. That's what he is, a scumbag. Yeah, he'll definitely have crazy bruising. And it probably hit him in like real sensitive part where there's not a lot of fat. So probably hurt just like being shot, but he just didn't get shot. Yeah, you're stopping something that's moving at hundreds of, feet a second. So that's that video. That's his prior crime before he killed the 16-year-old boy. You look at what he did there and you wonder why the cops think they might have the right guy. It just shows you he has just a disregard for human life, disregard for anyone but himself. Even after he fired his weapon, he still tried to escape by reversing the car and getting out of there. So good for that police department. Well done that they were able to. Huh? Hold on, guys. I gotta check something. Oh, it's alright. Sorry, I got a weird alert saying someone was here, but there's no one here. Yeah, crazy. Glad he's in jail and not on the streets, although I don't know why he was on the streets during the other one. Hold on. Let's see if there's anything. Let's see if there's anything in this history that says why he was free in 2015. Thomas was indicted December 23rd by the Akaluka County grand jury on 1 count of murder while engaged in trafficking, 1 count of armed burglary. The indictment remains sealed, according to court records. His arraignment was held Monday. Thomas is being held at the Akaluka County Jail on a $1 million bond. $1 million. Well, when you have 23 prior felonies, it's probably the type of bond you're going to get. Thomas court-appointed public defender asked to withdraw from the case Monday, citing an unnamed and irreconcilable conflict of interest, according to court documents. That's interesting. His public defender asked to withdraw from the case, citing an unnamed and irreconcilable conflict of interest. What are you, like his cousin or something? What is it, like your mum's brother's, kid or something like that? Or was he dating your girlfriend in the past? I would have to. They should have to disclose that. Maybe when the court records get unsealed, we'll find out what that is. That's weird. Unless he knew the murdered kid and the family, maybe that's how it's a conflict of interest. Maybe he knew the 16-year-old or someone involved with the case. Just trying to see where. Trying to see if there's a explanation, but no, there isn't. Sorry about that. Yes, I have the haunted ponytail. It's at my door. I mean, I can tell you about the pink thing, but it's pretty boring. I mean, she went to a club and she got kicked out. That's it. She went to a club in Australia. They asked her for ID. It's standard practice down here. Hold on, I'll show you. So we've got Taylor Swift and Pink here in Australia at the same time at the moment. See, just turfed her out. Pink brutally rejected in terrible look for Australia.
Well, Pink has been.
Yeah, it's a liquor licensing rule down here. It says global megastar Pink was denied entry into a Sydney hotspot she had a reservation for because she didn't bring any identification. The singer, 44, reportedly visited Manly Skiff Club on Monday evening with a party of around 8 people, but was turned away at the door. They said, I overheard her saying she had a booking, but when they asked her to provide her ID, she said she didn't have any on her. They said she couldn't come in without it, even though she explained she'd already secured her booking with a deposit. It says here, the Mr. Eames told the publication he tried to help Pink, whose real name is Alicia Beth Moore, by informing several Skiff Club directors and the floor manager that the star was at the entrance and about to be turned away. Next thing I saw, Pink and her group were walking away, just turfed her out. The Registered Club Act 1976 requires visitors of clubs to provide an ID proving their address to gain temporary membership. According to Mr. Eames, the singer did not exhibit any diva behavior and left without a fuss. Not once did she throw her weight around. She was really pleasant the whole time, just being a little upset that she couldn't come in. It was such a shame, and I felt a little embarrassed that a solution couldn't be found. You would think you could just put, like, pink, location, Hollywood, and that's it. That's it. There you go. You can have your temporary membership. I don't know why they do this to celebrities down here. It's happened before. Other celebrities have been kicked out of venues for no ID. What I find interesting though is that a thing that um, celebrities don't travel with a ID card or a purse or something like that. Very, very interesting. Oh, okay. Weird. I got hmm. Anyway, it's a pretty boring story. I don't really I don't follow it. I just saw it on the news and that was it. It's not a big thing down here anyway. It's pretty tiny, pretty tiny. I mean, she'll go to other things and do other stuff while she's here. All right. Hold on. Let me find our other story. If I can. You know the deal. Sometimes I can't find them, sometimes I can. You know what's interesting? We never heard back about the sous chef who killed that woman in the zoo. Do you remember I spoke about that last year? The National Zoo in Canberra. A worker there killed a female that he was working with. I'll show you. Here, share this tab instead. Do you remember this fella? He's the one who killed them. When is he due back in court? The man who's refused bail and will appear in court April 4th of this year, so still a little while to go. And he was arrested after his female colleague was stabbed to death at the National Zoo and Aquarium in Canberra and has been charged with murder. And I remember when this happened, we had people from Canberra in the chat telling us that the area he lives in Canberra was a known, sort of bad situation. And I'm glad that, well, I thought maybe he already went back to court, but we've still got some time on that one. All right. Let's see. But did you guys hear about the Kansas City thing? Apparently, a couple of the people they arrested were juveniles, like they're underage. I thought the guy they tackled looked like an adult, but you never know these days. All right. We can do this one. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. All right, I'm back. There we go. Now my cats were trying to jump into the window. Saturday marks 5 years since the disappearance of Serenity Dennard. Do you guys remember this one? I do. I didn't realize that it had still been outstanding. Let's listen to this and then we'll talk about it.
It's one of the great unsolved mysteries of this area. Today marks the 5-year anniversary of the disappearance of Serenity Dennard, and still, there's no closure to the case.
It was February 3rd, 2019, Super Bowl Sunday. Serenity Dennard, then 9 years old, ran from the Black Hills Children's Home off Old Rockerville Road. The Pennington County Sheriff's Office says 2 witnesses saw her on the road, and despite what was likely the largest search ever in South Dakota, that was the last time Serenity was seen.
Well, it weighs on people to this day. I mean, you pour your heart and soul into trying to trying to get the answers. And it's all about, we come to work every day. Let's do the right thing. Let's provide the answers to family in this unfortunate situation. And it still weighs on you. It's in your mind, on a daily basis or weekly basis, that we still haven't been able to provide that closure. And we hope to do so in the future.
Morrison said they've done 220 searches in the area with 66 agencies. At the time, searchers say they trekked more than 5,000 miles. They've interviewed more than 500 people and followed up on over 357 leads so far, including from foreign countries. Those leads still come in, and the case is still open. He said they're still working with other agencies, hoping to finally bring the case to a close.
We do get leads, weekly or monthly. Some leads come in, or possible sightings come in, and we do everything we can to jump on those right away to see if it's legit or not.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children put out this age-progressed photo of what Serenity might look like at 13 years of age. Morrison said they haven't seen any evidence to indicate that she was abducted. They're still hoping for final answers.
She hasn't been found. When we do things, we want to put a resolution to it, right? We come to work every day, and you want to put a resolution to it. So we deal with some sad things, some tough things, but there's a family out there who doesn't have the answers, and that's ultimately what it's all about.
Jack Cottle, Cody Territory News.
Are you looking for a fun activity?
No, I'm not looking for any fun activities. Yeah, so Serenity Dennard, I mean, it was February 3rd, 2019, Super Bowl Sunday. Who played in the Super Bowl on February 3rd, 2019? No idea. It wasn't the 49ers. They played in 2020. It was the Rams, New England Patriots. That's who it was. The last Tom Brady year with the Pats. Says the 9-year-old ran from Black Hills Children's Home off Old Rockerville Road. The Pennington County Sheriff's Office says 2 witnesses saw her on the road, and despite what was likely the largest search ever in South Dakota, that was the last time Serenity was seen. How does a little girl go missing for 5 years? 5 years. And, she was seen. It's not like she disappeared, no one ever saw her again. People actually had sightings of this little girl. Morrison, the county captain, says they've done 220 searches of the area with 66 agencies. At the time, searchers say they trekked more than 5,000 miles. They interviewed more than 500 people and followed up on 357 leads, including from foreign countries. Those leads still come in and the case is still open. He says they still do get leads occasionally, weekly or monthly. Wow, how is that possible? Serenity Dennard, let's have a look. She'd be 14 right now. Share this tab. It says May 12, 2023 marks the 14th birthday of Serenity Dennard, whose sudden disappearance from Black Hills Children's Home in February 2019 left countless questions waiting to be answered. More than 4 years after her vanishing, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the Pennington County Sheriff's Office have released new age-progressed images of Dennard in the hope it will generate new leads in the investigation. Yeah. Look, this was them doing like a line search near the area where she went missing. They didn't find anything. Someone must have picked her up, right? Had to have. Here's a photo of her at the time, one of the last known photos of Serenity. And it's not a case that's talked about all that much either. I don't hear a lot of channels covering it. Nothing like that. Is this another one with the sheriff? Let's have a look. Nope.
So inside of these boxes, there's 2 separate of these nasal sprayers, and this is
That's naloxone. They're talking about naloxone, the
Well,
overdose drug. Yeah,
Is
no,
that the
this is
ultimate-
not Serenity. Yeah, where's the where are the age progressed photos? Not on this page for some reason. Hold on, I'll find them for you. Actually, here on this one, you can actually see, like, look at the areas they've already traveled. Look at all this terrain that they had to go through to look for her. I guess these are where it's blue might be tracks they've walked and areas they've covered near where she went missing. I mean, it's old school using paper maps. They said Harrison said the sheriff's office received numerous reports of sightings of Serenity during the investigation, none of which panned out. Oftentimes, well-intended people would contact the department, such as when someone in Las Vegas took photos of a young girl in a parking lot who resembled Serenity, but which turned out not to be her. The sheriff told Newsnight in 2020 that the department took a systematic, methodical approach to the investigation that became the most exhaustive and expensive in the county's history. He kept a large map of the area around the children's home on his desk, with a tangle of blue and red lines indicating specific paths taken by searchers and dogs. Wow. He says it's emotionally taxing. It's always more emotional when it's a child, and people connect to that differently. We've had a lot of emotional ups and downs. There's some days when you go out there and think, this is a day we're going to find her, and we don't. And we've gone through that cycle many times, but we pick ourselves up and go back out there. The inability to find Serenity or any evidence of her disappearance has compounded the anguish over losing a child for those who loved her, including Darcy Gentry, 42, who adopted Serenity with her ex-husband, Chad Dennard, in 2014 after fostering the girl for several months. Gentry is Serenity's legal adoptive mother and retains secondary custody, but did not live with her at the time of the disappearance. I wonder why. If she was a legal adoptive mother, why did she live in a child's home, like a children's home, and not with a family? That's weird, right? Maybe it was in the process of going through. Sometimes until it's actually legalized, they can't live in the household. So maybe that's what happened. Maybe they were not done. Muffin, get out of the window. Come on. Silly animal. Chad Dennard acknowledged that Serenity had run away from home several times and enjoyed being searched for. He agrees with the theory that Serenity escaped from the home and somehow got lost to the point she couldn't find her way back or be easily found. Gentry said she was disappointed that officials from the Children's Home Society let Serenity get away, also did not respond to her request for a sit-down meeting to discuss the disappearance and search. Gentry said she was impressed with the actions and emotional response of law enforcement officers who worked on the case, though she remains puzzled that no evidence of Serenity has ever been found. It must be just the terrain, how bad the terrain is out there. They're saying it's very, lots of rocks and rivers and things like that. Possibly, Sean, possibly. Maybe. Because if I look at the area, Gentry says, which is her adoptive mum, remains unable to shake the feeling, however slight, that Serenity is alive and will make her way home someday. It would be a miracle if she's alive. She would have made contact by now, I think. Although maybe not. She was a child that lived in a child's home. Maybe she was running away for what she thought was a better life. I would not put that past a child living in a children's home. I just want to know why she didn't live with the mum at the time. If they were adoptive guardians or adoptive parents, why was she living in a home? I'm going to try search this. Hold on. Serenity Dennard. Because she has the name of her adoptive father, Dennard. So They had some legal rights. Why? Ah, okay. They said they enrolled Serenity with the inpatient program at the children's home because years of outpatient therapy wasn't working well enough and felt that she was a risk to herself and others at the time. Okay, so she didn't actually live in the children's home because she didn't have a family. It's because she was having some mental health issues and behavioral issues at the time. But apparently, one of her issues was frequently running away from her adoptive parents. So, yeah. Uh, what time is it? Oh my god, it's already. How does it get so late? I feel like we've only been on for like 1 minute. Really, I feel like we've been here for like only 5 seconds. Let me see if I can find any more about her. Aha, these are the new photos. Let me see if I can bring these up. Oh, they're from our friends Crime Online. There we go. So this is what they think that she could look like now if she's still out there. I think, that's a fair representation. Little kids, especially little girls, don't really look that different until they get a bit older. So, you know, just like her face filled out a little bit and she just looks a little bigger. She doesn't look like, a little kid anymore. She looks a little older. She'd be 14, she'd be almost, 15 in a few more months. In 2024, she'd be 15 years old. She went missing when she was 10 years old from South Dakota. Ay, ay, ay. So police don't think it was an outside influence. They think that due to her running away frequently, that this time she ran away and got herself into a situation in the wilderness that she couldn't get out of and died in either misadventure or like from the elements. It says 2 months after Denard vanished, multiple dog teams reportedly detected a cadaver scent in the vicinity where the 9-year-old was last seen. Despite this, Pennington County Police announced in January 2021 that they were discontinuing their search due to lack of new leads. Investigators reportedly fielded hundreds of leads in her unsolved disappearance, with more than 66 agencies logged 6,000 miles while looking for the girl. Yeah, they're saying that they don't have any solid leads to keep looking, but the cadaver dog is interesting. The fact that or cadaver dog, multiple dogs found a death scent. It could have been anything, or maybe it could have been like a car crash victim that there was a car crash there, or but it is interesting that multiple dogs smelt it, not just one. If you get one that flags and the others don't, then you could just be like, the dog was confused. But when you get multiple do it, that's different. That's like a pretty solid clue. I know, right? Time has been melting tonight. Thavi says she may be out there with a new identity. Possibly. That's what I was saying about her running away for a new life as a kid that had a tough life and all that. She may have been running away to whatever she thought was a new existence. So, very possible. We're going to have to wrap up in a few minutes. I know the show was a little short tonight. A little short. Let me see what else we've got. We always wrap up at 5, so just seeing if there's anything else, any breaking news that we might miss. That's insane. Apparently, I don't want to read this entire thing, but check this out. Idaho T19 reveals how she was left hanging by a broken leg on a power line for an hour after being thrown 30 feet in the air in a horrific car crash and the heartbreaking amputation that followed. Holy crap, look at her on the power line. That's her up there. She was thrown from a car? I thought it was a motorbike, but no, yeah, it was a car. She was thrown probably through the windshield. That's terrible. Wow, she's lucky to be alive. I know she lost a leg, but she's lucky that she's even still here. Imagine if she had shorted out the power. She would have been electrocuted with 110,000 volts. It would not have been very pretty. You would have had Kentucky Fried Human. It would have been awful. All right. Let me close some of these threads up. See if we can get another story. One more for tonight. Let's see what we got. Still nothing new about Rachel Morin. I'd like to know more about that. What's this one? Let's have a look. We're down in Fort Worth. It says, girlfriend arrested on murder in Grapevine fentanyl death of fired juvenile court judge. What is this? Go away. A woman who police allege had a source of fentanyl pills in Fort Worth and brought the synthetic opioid to her boyfriend, a former judge in Tarrant County, was arrested this week on suspicion of murder in connection with his overdose death in Grapevine in November. Cami Ludwig, 34, was booked on Monday in the killing of William Shane Nolan, who was a former associate judge in the 323rd District Court. Nolan was in November 2019 fired from the court which handles juvenile matters because as a defendant in a lawsuit filed in Denton County by the Department of Family and Protective Services, he violated court orders. Ludwig purchased fentanyl-laced pills and supplied them to Nolan. Grapevine police allege in the case built in part upon Ludwig's cell phone records that a detective reviewed under a search warrant. Ludwig turned herself in to Tarrant County authorities and was released on bond. In the master bedroom of his house in the 4100 block of Maple Ridge Drive, Nolan died in bed with white foam around his nose and mouth. Ludwig reported the overdose to police about 4:45 a.m. on November 20. The Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office concluded the cause of death was mixed drug toxicity. The officer identified the drugs as fentanyl and the antidepressant trazodone. Nolan was 47. A blue M30 fentanyl-laced pill was on stairs leading to the second floor, and pills believed to be Xanax were strewn about on the floor adjacent to the bed in which Nolan's body was found. Wow, that's brutal. So what, he just collapsed and dropped all the pills everywhere? Grapevine police said they recovered the drugs from the home, including 0.614 grams of cocaine, 4 grams of fentanyl, 0.348 grams of oxycodone, and 7.7 grams of generic Xanax. Oh, wow, that's a lot of drugs. It says any fentanyl-related death is a tragedy, and our condolences go out to the friends and family affected by the sudden loss of former Judge Shane Nolan. Fentanyl murder is a serious accusation, and judgment should be withheld until all the facts and circumstances are known. We proudly defend Cami as she too struggles with the loss of a beloved friend. So that was her lawyer speaking just then. The State Commission on Judicial Conduct determined in 2022 that Nolan should be publicly admonished for failing to cooperate with the Commission's investigation of 2 complaints. Beyond the court order violation in Denton County matter, the Commission initiated an investigation of conduct that was described in a report published by the Star Telegram. Nolan participated in an after-hours poker party in the chambers at Tarrant County Juvenile Justice Center in violation of county and city ordinances and policies. So he had a bit of a funny spotty track record, but that doesn't mean he should die from a fentanyl overdose. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's a photo of Shane William Nolan. His girlfriend gave him laced drugs and he died from a mixed drug toxicity overdose. Let's see if there's a little video we can watch about him. Yes, here we go.
A new law that allows police to charge drug dealers with murder if a user dies from an overdose is being applied to a woman accused of buying drugs from a dealer. Grapevine police arrested and charged Cammie Ludwig this week after her boyfriend's November overdose in a Grapevine home. Police say she purchased fentanyl-laced pills, Xanax, cocaine, and more from dealers in Fort Worth and Louisiana. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is in Grapevine with the story. Peyton.
Steve, and Grapevine police say that Cammie Ludwig purchased fentanyl pills from a dealer in Fort Worth multiple times. In fact, police say the night before Nolan's death, she traveled to that Fort Worth home and then back here to Grapevine. An arrest warrant was issued on Friday for murder. Police tell us she turned herself in yesterday alongside her attorney. North Texas attorney and former Tarrant County judge William Shane Nolan died of a fentanyl overdose in November. Nolan's girlfriend at the time, 35-year-old Cammie Ludwig, now faces a murder charge nearly 3 months after his death. A new state law went into effect in September, creating a criminal offense of murder for manufacturing or supplying fentanyl that results in death.
They found evidence that she sought out the pills, she bought them, and she brought them back to the victim, where he then took them and died.
On November 20th, 2023, Grapevine police responded to a death investigation at a home near Hall Johnson Road and Pool Road just before 5 a.m. Police say Ludwig called 911 and claimed she woke up to Nolan lying unresponsive next to her and ran to a neighbor's home. Nolan's 9-year-old son was also home at the time. When officers entered, they found the 47-year-old dead in his bedroom from a drug overdose. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, the Tarrant County medical examiner later confirmed fentanyl and trazodone, an antidepressant, were both in Nolan's system. Detectives located 40 blue fentanyl-laced pills marked with M30, along with cocaine, oxycodone, and Xanax in Ludwig's purse. They also found pills on the floor next to the bed where Nolan was found and a cut straw on the vanity, suggesting pills were being crushed and snorted. Ludwig was initially arrested and charged with possession of a controlled substance in November. A search of Ludwig's phone revealed her sources of the fentanyl-laced pills were identified by the names Blue and T, who live at a home in Fort Worth. Phone records also showed Ludwig traveled to the Fort Worth address the night before Nolan's death. Police later found a
Either write in the chat or put in the comments, what do you think about this new law allowing the police to charge people who supply fentanyl or pills laced with fentanyl with murder if the person overdoses? Let me know.
package at Nolan's Grapevine home. It was from Louisiana, addressed to Ludwig. Inside, an iPhone box with dozens of Xanax pills.
So it's more evidence that she was the one bringing in the drugs.
I think it'll be a difficult case for the state to prove.
Tuesday, we spoke to criminal defense attorney Zachary Ferguson, who is not affiliated with the case. The law allowing Ludwig to be charged with murder is still new and so far has mostly been used against drug dealers and drug suppliers. It will be up to a grand jury to decide if Ludwig's alleged purchase of the drugs that led to Nolan's overdose constitutes a murder charge.
From my understanding, that the facts of this case, I don't think that that's what was the intent of the bill. When the bill was passed, I don't think it was intended to pursue individuals who are drug users.
Now, Cammie Ludwig has hired an attorney. A statement from her attorney was released to Fox 4 saying, in part, fentanyl murder is a serious accusation and judgment should be withheld until all of the facts and circumstances are known. We proudly defend Cammie as she too struggles with the loss of a beloved friend. Now, Ludwig has since bonded out of jail, and Grapevine police tell us they are still working to track down these drug dealers. That is still an open investigation. They say more arrests could be coming.
There you go. More arrests could be coming. I did, Sean. I did. I don't know if you want me to read it out or
Chick-fil-A
not, but
restaurant ranks #1 in the
hey,
fast.
stop that. You know, I can address part of it on here anyway for you. This wall is actually getting a new like thing here. We're waiting on it to be printed up actually from Officeworks. I think we can pick it up. I can't remember, but Reby helped with it. I can't remember what day we can pick it up, but we ordered it. We're waiting on it to be picked up or to be made or whatever from Officeworks. I'm just waiting for the confirmation to say we can go get it, but it'll cover this wall. 22nd, Reby says 22nd. So next week. Reby helped out with that. But Sean, just double check that donation. I don't want you to accidentally put an extra 0 on there. But the other one, the PO box we're still working on. The one around the corner doesn't have any free, and so we're looking for a different location. We wanted to get it. There's one that's literally like 2 minutes away, but they don't have any free right now. They put me on some sort of list. The other one is a bit further away. I don't really want to get one there, so we're waiting. We'll find out when they have one and someone stops paying for their one or whatever. It's only because in this area there is no really like super large Australia Post. All the ones here are like those little tiny ones. Like they used to be independent or something. Do you know what I mean? We don't have any of those big corporate ones that are huge and have like toys and stationery you can buy, and they're all those like little tiny ones that literally have one line and that's it. You go in and do your stuff and go back out. they're actually in this area. There's one here that's half post office, half chemist. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. It's half chemist, half post office. I've never seen that anywhere else. It's very weird. Contractor, yeah, they must be because, yeah, we don't have any corporate ones here, like those real big shop fronts, unfortunately. But yeah, as soon as I get one, I will definitely put it on the pay, either on the page or in the bot. Oh, Thursday, 20th of Feb. Okay, thank you, Reby. I appreciate it. That was all Reby. Reby did everything to do with that. So we have to thank her when we see it on the wall. She did all of it, so I can't take any credit for it. Chidney says, I love those mini post offices. They're so cool. Yeah, it really is a half chemist, half post office. Wait, I can probably show you. Where is it? I can't remember the road. It's in Parkdale. Parkdale, Mordialloc North? Yeah, it's this one. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah. So it's half Amcal, half post office in the same store. It's literally it's a 50-50. So when you go in there, there's one little like cutout in the wall, and it's for Australia Post. And then if you go the other side of the store, it's an Amcal chemist. It's the only one I've ever seen that's a 50-50. But yeah, so this is actually one of the bigger ones in the area because it's half chemist, but all the other ones are just little tiny ones, unfortunately. There you go. I hope you found that interesting. If you didn't know that you can have a half chemist, half post office. This account says if someone's feeling really, really down, can they say here? Sure, if you want to. I hope you feel better though. I do hope you feel better. Um, I know there's lots of help out there, this account. I know that there's tons of services. So if you're not having a good time, there's always someone you could speak to, I promise. And another day will feel completely different. Take it from someone who was homeless for many years, where I never thought my life would get any better. I used to sometimes sit down and I would literally think, is this going to be my entire life? Because I could never see a light at the end of the tunnel. I just thought this is always going to be the way my life is going to be. I'm never going to be able to get to do things that normal people do, like go to school or drive a car, live in a normal house. And yeah, I can tell you that things change, things get better. Stuff changes. Shoal Huffman says chemist is the same as a pharmacist in the US, I guess. In Australia, you have a chemist, and inside the chemist there are pharmacists who work there. Does that make sense? So a chemist is the name of the store, I guess, and a pharmacist works behind the counter in the back where you get your prescriptions. Actually, for our Americans who might be watching, do you want to know something really strange? In Australia, we don't have any places like Target or Costco where you can go and get your prescriptions filled. I know in America you could go to Target, I think Costco, like a Sam's Club, like a few other different ones as well, and you can get your prescriptions done there, like in the store. In Australia, there's no such thing. You have to go to a pharmacy or a chemist and get it done there. Yeah, this account, if you want to talk to Kathy, email me at sundaywithping@gmail.com and I'll put you in touch with Kathy if you want. Happy to do that for you. I Hate Morning says we call it a pharmacy. Oh, like Walgreens? Maybe. Smokes, alcohol, and medication. They're just missing the booze for like the holy trifecta. They're missing it. Oh, thanks, Reby. I appreciate it. You got to be careful sending me stuff during the show though, because my brain doesn't work properly, and I will literally just start reading whatever you put in front of me, because my brain just wants to read the stories or whatever. I got to be so careful with it, because I've done that before and read out secrets. So you guys have got to be careful. You don't have to be sorry. You can, but like we said, we'll give you options and help you. No, it's all right. It's more like for your privacy. I didn't want to read out your real name or your address or anything like, that type of thing. I didn't want to do that to you. Cheating No More says, is an apothecary the same as a pharmacy, but an older term? An apothecary is like, isn't that like a witch? Or like an old time person who used to mix like powders and stuff? Apothecary. Hold on, let's see. What is an apothecary? Oh, okay, I get it. I guess an apothecary would be what we call a compound pharmacy. We do have them here, but they're pretty far and few between. A compound pharmacy is where they actually make the medication, so you can go in there, and if you need a certain percentage or you need a medication that they don't sell in a pre-made pack, they can actually make it from scratch out of powder and binders and things like that. We have pharmacies here that do that, and they're called a compound pharmacy, and that's what I would say is the closest relation to an apothecary. What is a chemist? I don't know why we call it a chemist. Why do Australians refer to pharmacies as a chemist? A chemist is a retail shop of medicines or a person involved in the retail sale of medicines. A pharmacist is a registered pharmacist. Yeah. So a pharmacist is a person who can dispense medication on scripts and that type of thing. Okay, maybe that's the difference. An alchemist? No, we're not doing any alchemy. Not here. We're not going to turn any metals into gold or turn like wine into wine, good wine. Yeah, so we have that here. I don't know if in America I don't know if in America they always like every pharmacy can do compound, but not here. You have to go to like special ones. The closest one to me is like 25, 30 minutes away. They're not close. There's not one closer than that. It's near the hospital. You have to go near the hospital to get it. All right, I think we're not even talking about true crime anymore. We're just rambling. I will be back tomorrow, but please remember, there is no show at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Trish is going live with Jim Rathman tomorrow night. And if you'd like to see that show, you can tune in on her channel, WebSluice Live. And I will be on at 11 p.m. 11 p.m. tomorrow night. And I will be on, I promise. Snapcrackle Pop says, we're expecting storms, Ping. Oh, really? Bad ones? Or I know that up in the north they're getting smashed right now by a hurricane. Hold on. A cyclone? Yeah, there's a cyclone up north in the Northern Territory. Tropical Cyclone Lincoln. Forecast map. It's only like a baby cyclone. It's only a category 1, which can still cause damage, but it's not going to be a cat 5 or anything. I know northern Queensland is getting the tail of that cyclone right now. So if you live in Townsville or somewhere up there, Port Douglas, Magnetic Island, Harvey Range, where else? Yeah, just up that way. Alligator Creek. What a cool name for a suburb. If you live up that way, there is a lot of storm activity. The Daintree, if you live up near the Daintree or the Palmer River, you are copying a lot of storms. How far south does it go? If you live down near Mackay, you have some real bad storm activity on your doorstep this evening. Even Sydney, actually. What is going on? Sydney's got a whole bunch of slow-moving storms. Even Canberra, too. There's a bunch of storm activity. Well, keep safe, everyone. Please keep safe out there. It is a stormy weekend. Yeah, it definitely looks like you guys have some bad weather. Yeah, this account. Try and reach if you want to email me sundaywithping@gmail.com and either you can talk to me or I can put you in touch with Kathy if you don't want to talk to me and you want to talk to another person like-minded. Yeah, don't do it on your own. We can get you help. We can get you something to feel better. Like a big glass of rosé. No, I'm just kidding. Don't take my advice. Rosé does not fix everything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back tomorrow night. I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers to this channel. It's been amazing to see how fast the subs have been growing over the last couple of weeks. It's been going through the roof. We're starting to pick up again and start getting positive movement every couple of days, which is great. I'm really, really thankful for it. And yeah, if you appreciate this channel, please think of giving us a like or a subscription or a sub. And thank you to all the people who donate and help fund the massive amounts of hours of live streams every week. I really appreciate it. I do this for everyone, all the viewing people. It doesn't matter if you donate or not. I just do it so people have somewhere to go and talk about true crime every evening. So other than that, I love you all. Be safe out there, and come back tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Okay, we'll spend Friday evening together. Have a great sleep, and I'll see you all later. Okay, bye bye.